Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss the line-by-line meaning and explanation of Act 1, Scene 7 of William Shakespeare's famous play Macbeth. So let's get started. In this scene, we will see how Macbeth is torn between showing his loyalty to King Duncan on one hand and on the other of attaining his ambition of becoming the king himself, and how he knows that if he goes ahead with the act of killing King Duncan, it is going to violate the natural order, the natural functioning of things, because remember, in those times, in Elizabethan times, a king was considered the representative of God on earth, and if you kill King Duncan, it is as if you are killing God. So he knew the consequences. And secondly, we see how Lady Macbeth constantly influences, challenges, brainwashes and manipulates Macbeth to go ahead and carry out the murder of King Duncan. The scene begins with an internal dialogue that is going on. Macbeth is talking to himself and he says that if it were done, then let it be completely finished the moment it is done. Now here the word "it" refers to the murder. He's thinking about the murder that he's going to carry out of King Duncan, and he says that it is good if the murder be done immediately and quickly, because if the murder is followed by evil consequences, and then after this evil consequences of doing the murder, I can immediately attain or get my purpose. That is, that if in one blow, in one shot, I am able to kill King Duncan, then there will be no punishment that will be in store for me. I would like to risk the punishment in my afterlife. That is, he is, yes, ready to kill King Duncan, he is ready to murder him, but he wants it to be done instantly, on spot, in one shot. But he says that in such cases, there are always, even if no one else sees you doing these evil actions, there is the eye of justice that is always watching over you. And then he starts giving reasons why he thinks he should not carry out his act of doing the murder. Macbeth now starts weighing the pros and cons of doing the murder. He says that firstly, I am his relative, so I should not be doing this deed, and secondly, I being the host of this house, I should be protecting him and be against the act of murder. But what am I doing? I'm going to stab him myself. And then he says that Duncan as a person is full of virtue. Till date, he has not done anything that is to be hated. Instead, he has gone ahead and given me more honors and respects and important titles. So I should not be technically going ahead with this plan of murder. He then says, and pity like a naked newborn babe striding up the blast. That is, just the moment the people hear about the murder of King Duncan, everyone is going to show pity, just as people get attracted to a newborn baby, right? The other example he gives is the guardian angels who protect King Duncan because of his good virtues are going to go and spread the news, just as these days shots and videos, they go viral like anything just because of one small incident that is shown in a reel or in shots. Similarly, since angels protect King Duncan to such a great degree, the news about his murder is going to spread like wildfire, and there will be no respite for me to, if I get exposed at this time. My only intention, my only profitable gain in killing King Duncan will be my ambition, my desire to become the king. That is the only reason I can give myself for doing this act. Otherwise, I see no fault in King Duncan to be going ahead and doing this act of murder. At this time, Lady Macbeth enters, and Macbeth is still, remember, he has two sides. On one side, he does not want to kill him because Duncan is his relative, and also he's the epitome of virtue in Macbeth's eyes. And secondly, over here, on the other hand, he has that ambition, vaulting ambition, rising ambition to become the next king, to get that golden crown, get that fame and respect from everyone. So on the other hand, there's a conflict of thoughts going on in his mind. And now when Lady Macbeth enters, he is actually asking her that, what is the preparation, what is the news about the preparation for the murder of the king. At this time, Lady Macbeth answers that yes, Duncan has almost finished his supper. He has just supped. Why have you left the chamber? She gets very angry at Macbeth that the dining place where Duncan and his men were having the dinner, why did Macbeth leave the room so suddenly? But we know that Macbeth was feeling that hesitation, that guilt within him, which is why he's having this internal conflict, and he, just moves away from the scene. So Macbeth asks that, was Duncan asking about me? Hath he asked for me? Lady Macbeth says, no, you not he has. So Lady Macbeth says, why will he not? You are the host for tonight. So of course he was inquiring about you. So Macbeth to this says, we will proceed no further in this business. That is, we will not proceed with our plan of doing the murder, because of late Macbeth has been honored by King Duncan with a lot of honors, with a lot of titles, and as a mark of respect, he does not want to go ahead with this, act of killing King Duncan. Moreover, the titles that he has newly received has given him, or has fetched Macbeth, a lot of opinions, golden opinions, words of praise, compliments from people, and he does not want this fame to fade away from his life just because of this one wrong deed that he does. It happens often, it must have happened with you also, that from morning you are doing all the good things, you are obeying the orders of your parents, or you're listening to them, and one thing you do wrong, somewhere you've not switched off the fan, or something or the other goes wrong, and the whole day's effort of winning praises just goes down the line. So that same thing Macbeth is feeling, that he does not want to lose out on the fame and the attention he's getting from people just by killing King Duncan. Now at this time, Lady Macbeth is on full duty to convince Macbeth to go ahead with the plan and not give up so easily. She says that, is your hope of becoming the king drunk? Now when a person is drunk, that person loses his capacity to work very fast, and he's very slow in movement. So similarly, it seems like the hope of Macbeth is gradually fading away, and she's saying that, has it been sleeping all this while, that you have become so pale and you're looking green and all scared? She says, from this time such I account thy love. She's saying that if this is your if you cannot show courage in this kind of an action, then you should not also be showing courage to me in showing your affection to me. Art thou afeard to be the same in thy own act and valor as thou art in desire? So she's saying that, are you now feeling afraid of displaying your action, your courage to fulfill your high aspirations of becoming the king, your desire to become the king? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life? The word the phrase ornament of life over here means the crown. So she's saying that you have all your life wished to become the king, and now when you are getting a golden opportunity to have the crown to yourself, like a coward, your self-esteem, your motivation is going down just because you are scared and you do not want to take action. Here she makes use of a proverb, poor cat in the adage. Now here this phrase is actually a proverb, which means that if there's a fish who's hungry and wants to go, and if there's a cat and she's hungry and she wants to go and eat the fish, just because her feet will get wet, she does not go to catch the fish. It's like the food is served to you by your mother and you do not want to eat it because you're feeling very lazy, you're really hungry, but you do not want to lift up your hand, take a bite, put it into your mouth, so you don't end up eating. So that same thing is happening. The situation, opportunity, everything, the plot, everything is ready. It is only Macbeth who needs to come into action, and here Lady Macbeth is trying to convince Macbeth to take up the courage and go ahead with the killing of King Duncan. To this Macbeth says, prithee peace. He is requesting Lady Macbeth that please, be quiet, don't, confuse me further. I dare do all that may become a man who dares do more is done. So he's saying over here that I'm going to do all that I can to carry out this action and prove to you that yes, I am a man. So Macbeth still is not completely convinced on carrying out this plan. He's saying that yes, I am a man of my words, but I'm not a superman who will do this act with full courage, because obviously if suddenly one person wakes up and one day and tells you that go and commit the murder of a person, it is a very, very extreme thing. And the play actually shows how Macbeth is having to, carry out the plan of murdering King Duncan, which is against his will and dictates. He's not wanting to do it, and he gave sufficient reasons that he's the relative and he's the host for tonight, so he should not be doing it. So then to this, Lady Macbeth says that what was that beast-like intention in you that, broke this news to me that you want to, go ahead with it. It is you who carried out this plan. It is you who made the plan about how things will be done. So if you as a person, the same person, was able to make a plan on how things are to be carried out, then how are you giving up so easily? Now finally, the time, place, everything is in your favor. The only thing that you need to do is that take up this rare opportunity that is there, build up your courage and do this act of committing the murder. Then she gives the often quoted, the most famous lines of the play. She says, I have given suck and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out. She's saying that if I as a person had ever given my word for committing an action, in this case the murder, even if there was a baby whom I was feeding at this time and the baby was gently smiling at me, feeling so happy that it is feeding milk from me, I would have immediately snatched that baby away from my body and I would have dashed the brains out of the baby. That is, she would have killed the baby immediately by dashing it or by banging the head of the baby onto some hard surface. That is the amount of cruelty that is there in Lady Macbeth, and this same cruelty, this kind of motivation of getting power and the royal authority, she is trying to feed into Macbeth over here by giving this kind of an extreme example. I think no mother or no parents in this world can ever do this of killing their own children. But here imagine how Lady Macbeth is giving such an extreme, terrible, unmotherly kind of an example here, just to motivate Macbeth to go ahead with the plan of killing King Duncan. So Macbeth has a concern that what if they fail in doing the murder. To this, Lady Macbeth says that remember, we will not fail. Keep your courage high, keep your conviction and your determination very, very strong, and there is no reason why we will fail. And now again, a very, very important speech. Here she is once again giving out the exact plan on how they are going to carry out the murder. She says that when Duncan has fallen fast asleep, which he will technically be falling asleep because he's going to be very tired from the long day's journey, then there will be two men who are going to generally attend to the king when he's asleep to protect the king from not being attacked by anyone. Lady Macbeth, like a cruel person, she is going to overfeed these chamberlains, all these men attending to King Duncan. She is going to get them drunk, and under the influence of alcohol, the reasoning capacity, thinking and logic capacity of those men will stop working. They will lose their senses. They will start sleeping a swinish sleep. That is, they will sleep like pigs at this time, and it is at this hour that when Duncan is unguarded, he is without protection, they will carry out the plan of putting the dagger into the heart of King Duncan. Macbeth now says, bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. At this, Macbeth is saying that you should only give rise to children who are males, because your courage cannot be matched. It is unmatched in terms of the amount of courage you have. Even though you are a woman, you still have the courage of a man. And then Macbeth says that when we have what is the other thing that Lady Macbeth is going to do? Lady Macbeth says that we will smear the blood of King Duncan on the two men on their faces, and some blood will also be put on the dagger, so that it will seem like as if those men are the ones who have carried out the act of killing King Duncan. So Macbeth has a concern that what if they fail in doing the murder. To this, Lady Macbeth says that remember, we will not fail. Keep your courage high, keep your conviction and your determination very, very strong, and there is no reason why we will fail. And now again, a very, very important speech. Here she is once again giving out the exact plan on how they are going to carry out the murder. She says that when Duncan is fallen fast asleep, which he will technically be falling asleep because he's going to be very tired from the long day's journey, then there will be two men who are going to generally attend to the king when he's asleep to protect the king from not being attacked by anyone. Lady Macbeth, like a cruel person, she is going to overfeed these chamberlains, all these men attending to King Duncan. She is going to get them drunk, and under the influence of alcohol, the reasoning capacity, thinking and logic capacity of those men will stop working. They will lose their senses. They will start sleeping a swinish sleep, that is, they will sleep like pigs at this time. And it is at this hour that when Duncan is unguarded, he is without protection, they will carry out the plan of putting the dagger into the heart of King Duncan. Macbeth now says, bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. At this, Macbeth is saying that you should only give rise to children who are males, because your courage cannot be matched. It is unmatched in terms of the amount of courage you have. Even though you are a woman, you still have the courage of a man. And then Macbeth says that when we have what is the other thing that Lady Macbeth is going to do? Lady Macbeth says that we will smear the blood of King Duncan on the two men on their faces, and some blood will also be put on the dagger, so that it will seem like as if those men are the ones who have carried out the act of killing King Duncan. Now, the three important themes or signposts in Act 1, Scene 7 are: firstly, ambition, where Macbeth's internal struggle, that dilemma, that sense of conflict he is having with his ambition to become the king on one hand, and on the other, his sense of loyalty towards King Duncan. It is the central theme of the play. Next, manipulation. We see how Lady Macbeth is constantly manipulating and brainwashing and challenging Macbeth to carry out this act of murder. She is also questioning his love for her, so that Macbeth can be convinced to carry out the murder. Thirdly, the scene foreshadows the future tragic events that will happen. One wrong act by Macbeth of killing King Duncan will lead to a lot of other unfortunate events in the course of the play. So this is actually a precursor to what is to come in the other scenes in the future. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.